it though. You're such an idiot. See, you couldn't hold it that long, could you? uh,
I don't look like Jim Carrey.
we should be going up any minute now. As soon as YouTube decides that it's okay to make me go live, because YouTube is a dick like that.
He can. Oh God, that was great. He had like the same jaw.
All right, we are good officially. I'm just gonna wait everybody. I'm gonna wait everybody. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna wait for everyone.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I can't speak. I don't know what's going on with me.
Wait, do you hear this hurricane coming through my fucking mic
yeah, but
right now?
it's nothing. You're good. You're okay. You're good to do.
It's nothing.
Shade, what's going on? Thank you so much for the artwork you have so graciously donated for this. I'm gonna be honest with you, we almost didn't do it, but I had to make use of Shade's awesome artwork. We'll probably be doing it again. We'll probably use it again for like the next debate. We might just stream like right after it, because last night plans kind of got fucked up a little bit. We didn't realize what we were doing, so it would make more sense to do it right after the debate ends, like that night. But whatever, Murica indeed, average Murica. So, yeah, I figured this probably isn't going to go too long, maybe 10, 15 minutes tops, depending on how long we ramble. 16-second commercial for Ed. I just thought it'd be a cool idea, since everybody's talking about it anyway, anybody American, I would say, is talking about the debates anyways and how they went down. I figured it would just be cool to give opinions really quick. Jeff, what's going on? So after this, just so you guys know, once we're done getting our political opinions out of the way, Jimmy and I will probably be playing some H1. Definitely be playing some H1. So what we're going to do is we'll take the stream down when we're done talking for like 5 minutes. Because right now, this stream is not listed as a gaming stream because I don't want to throw it in because then it's going to look weird and, you know. So we'll take it down so I can switch it back to a gaming stream, titles and everything, so everything looks right. And then we'll come back up. I should be down for like 5 minutes tops. Just got to change thumbnails really quick. So, anyways, that being said, everyone be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you already for reminding people to do so, average. So I did an overlay at thumbnail for just 10. No, Shade, you didn't, because it's going to be used. Like I said, we're going to do it for the next debate. Do people not listen to me anymore, Jimmy? Like, is that what this is?
I don't think so. And you know what? It's really getting on my fucking nerves. Goddamn fucking Shadikenn. Swear to God, if I ever fucking meet you, I'm going to give you dap and be like, yo, what's good, friend?
Oh, man. So, anyways, what I have in front of me, just in case I need it, is a transcript of the entire debate, which, regardless of who you like politically, can we all agree?
Send that to me.
Huh? I'll send it to you right now. Can we all agree that it was a circus? Like, is that okay?
I wouldn't necessarily call it a circus, mainly because it wasn't as crazy as I thought it would be.
I would say it started out pretty rough. I think they were, well, at the beginning, Donald Trump was throwing the punches, right?
Which he should have been.
Well, I mean, yeah, but when you're looking at it, nonpartisan, they both need to throw punches, right? Regardless of who you are, going into a debate, you need to stand your ground, right? And when it started off, Donald Trump was just, you know, the best thing if you were a Donald Trump person was you've been working on ISIS for 30 years or however many years you want to call it. I fucking almost fell off the couch. That was funny. Was great. It was after that first 20 minutes, I would say, the first 25 minutes. Shade, I legit want to meet both of you motherfuckers in real life. We want to meet you, bro. We want to penetrate your butthole. I mean, buy you a soda. Is Jimmy going to stream? Yeah, Jimmy's going to stream when we start playing. Don't worry. But there's a paralyzed child behind Jimmy. No, there isn't. Jeff just goes, ISIS. 9? 11.
11. Dude, like I said last night, just looking at this creature in fucking red, I swear to God, that's like all that came to my mind.
She made a weird fucking gesture at one point that I didn't even notice till I watched it back, where she was just like, her head bobbed to the side. But I forgot what he was talking. Hold on, let me find it. And this is because you know what I was. I knew we were gonna do this tonight, but I was at work, and also I was trying to I rewatched the whole thing, but like so I can like gather my thoughts. But I forgot exactly where it was. Yeah.
But when he
9/11.
did his like spiel and everything, and then she just looked at him and then like started laughing like.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Don't
talking
do
about.
that.
That's what I'm talking about. There's a really
bitch.
great picture going around on Facebook that was like Hillary Trump. I always do that. Hillary Clinton called Trump racist, sexist, and crazy. Right? Donald Trump called Hillary Secretary Clinton. That should be like all the information you need to know. Even if you think he's a buffoon, right? You think he's a crazy idiot buffoon. That's fine. You think all his policies are fucking stupid. That's fine. But at the very base of the whole thing, you can at least say the man was respectful. At the very least, you can give him that, right? That's what I think.
You know what it is?
What?
My father brought it up to me. He was like, he just called me in his room like maybe like 2 weeks ago, and he goes, you know what I think? Like, you know what I think it is?
On Facebook since he's banned.
What are you talking about? I would. I could do anything but post, and on the desktop I can like shit. But my father goes, you know why? He goes, you know why people probably like him? Because he's a real fucking New Yorker.
That's what I was saying. I was in the
He's got a New York mentality, and
I was in the deli
like
this afternoon.
That's like one of the best things about him.
The guy working, I was like, you know what? He's got that likability because he's from New York. He's one of us, and then you guys can see. Oh no, you can't because I cut it off. I saw it. I saw your girlfriend crawling away. I was like, he's got that likability because he's a New Yorker, and I was thinking, maybe he's only got that likability to maybe East Coasters or people from New York City. That could very well be. And when I said that in the deli, he was like, dude, I would think Hillary Clinton, if you're gonna look at it, is way more like one of us because. At least she hasn't been rich her entire life. And I was like, you know what? That's a decent argument, but the only reason I say that is because he's from here. You know what I mean?
But he's for the working people.
But regardless of
it
what
just so happens, people want to criticize him for his upbringing. Like,
yeah.
How are you gonna do that? The only people that criticize him for his upbringing are the ones that are salty that they didn't have that upbringing.
Maybe. I would say, regardless of what you think of him as a person, I don't think you could not deny the fact that at least he speaks his mind. And I think that much is to be respected. Right?
Yeah. Wow. Hold on a sec. I was just watching. There's a compilation video of like everyone breaking their flat screen TVs.
Oh, who cares about that?
Some dude literally just dove through his TV.
Getting back to the topic.
I felt it was on like while they were watching the debate.
I kind of felt like it.
People are idiots.
The questions a little bit towards the end started to tip in Hillary's favor when they blatantly asked them about. Well, it would appear, Mr. Trump, that you hate women, and it wasn't worded that way. It was you said
there's a gender gap.
Well, besides that, that's one thing against Hillary Clinton. She blatantly said on national television in front of almost 100 million people that the pay gap exists. That's bullshit. But
I heard someone somewhere before saying that she is lucky.
Dumbasses. You're right, Double.
She is lucky to have a debate with him because that's the only way she's gonna pull that many people.
Probably.
And I thought that was pretty funny.
I lost my train of thought now. What was I saying? Oh, and they were asking him about the women stuff. That was when she got him against the ropes. When she started bringing up, well, he's a racist. You know, he's a sexist. The things he says are crazy. He had nothing to say. He was just standing there, and then once you would throw these things out, he was immediately on the kind of like defensive, right? Which that was his biggest fault. If you're gonna look at it that way, it was his biggest fault. I think if anything, his advisors after that were like, dude. You let her kind of trample you, bro. You gotta, when she does those things, every time she does something like that, he just needs to be like, well, Hillary, emails. Why? Well, how come we're talking about the fact that you think I hate all women, but we're not talking about the fact that you had people bashing your phones with hammers, right? So, largely, I would say overall, she whipped his ass. He only had the first few minutes.
I don't think so.
I think she did. But
I think in terms of basically, this is how I see it.
Yo, everyone is racist. It's true. There's no denying it.
I'm not racist. I hate everyone equally.
Exactly. No lies.
But this is how I see it. This is how I see it. You got a moderator that
girl
works
on Jimmy's bed. Yeah, it's his girlfriend.
that works for a liberal news outlet.
Yeah.
Coming up with his own questions that nobody but him knew about.
Was he the one? I don't know. Did he write the questions? That's actually.
He said that it was only him that knew the questions.
Okay. That was actually.
And I think it's kind of suspicious that all the 90% of the questions.
Trump did stutter a lot. That was what I was saying.
He didn't stutter.
He did.
He sniffled.
Once he started taking control is when he started stuttering, because he had to keep. He felt the need to keep jumping in and defending himself. You know what I mean? You don't have to leave.
Facts got to be put out. Facts, my dude.
Facts. Did you see the meme that was floating around after that when he said facts? They photoshopped
a
Yankees cap and a pair of Timberlands on the fucking.
My boy tagged me in a video on Instagram. It was just a loop of that.
It's fucking hilarious.
With the hat and everything. I was crying in my car.
That's fucking great. Trump.
No, but like I said, I think it's really
suspicious
suspicious that you had a guy who claims to be a Republican that works for one of the biggest liberal news outlets.
He's been a registered Republican.
Making the questions up, and they just happen to be all questions that force Trump to be on a defensive instead of offensive. Right. After the first question,
you can
because I think they were purposely planned in that order because it puts him on the striking end. Yeah, they're like, okay, we're gonna give Trump like his, to make it look unbiased, we're gonna give him his like little time to shine in the beginning, and then right after he looks really good, they try to fucking destroy him. But I think he got through it good because he was throughout the whole thing, he was still using facts to get through it.
I would say for the most part, when it came down to
whenever she brought up things that could be disproved with facts,
when she started talking about the global warming thing, he did say there was a tweet. He tweeted out that he believes that this was in 2012. He believes that global warming is a myth started by the Chinese to make our industry less profitable. So he did say that. That's
probably is.
And we were, in fact, you got to understand something. When we were, it was me, Jimmy, and one of our friends on the couch, right? And we're all Trump people. And once that, as soon as that came up, even I brought it up. I was like, well, see, this is where we start to differ, because even I think that global warming is a thing. I think all you got to do is look around, you go outside to realize that global warming is a thing. Seasons are.
I don't think it's a big fucking deal. I really don't.
It's not a big deal now. In our lifetime, it probably won't be. The idea is to make it better for the following generation, so the planet doesn't die. Because what's going to happen is if we keep acting like shit, the planet's going to be fucked up, and future generations are going to be like, well, it was everybody else's fault, and then we're going to be responsible for humans dying out. You understand what it is? People who are saying that global warming is a thing, we're not saying that, oh my God, we're going to die tomorrow, the sun is going to explode tomorrow. That's not the thing. We're saying that, listen, generations from now, this is going to become a problem, and we should start thinking about it now rather than later. Because if we wait and then one day, we do have 300-degree weather outside and we can't leave our fucking underground shelters, our generation is going to be the one to blame because we didn't act. That's what we're saying. So that's when I brought that up on the couch, and you and even our buddy Anthony was like, well, yeah, but it's not that big a deal. I was like, you're right, it's not that big a deal now. Tomorrow it might be a big deal. So I think
I look for today and my future. Whatever happens after I'm dead, I really don't care.
That's right. What's going on, bath salts? Hillary would not be able to possess a carry permit in New York City. If you haven't already, make sure to like so Biscuit will be happy.
She can't possess the strength to carry her own body weight.
There was a stream yesterday that said Mars was capable of life. That's another thing. We need to start. We're not at a level where we can start transporting people through space by the millions. That's something we need to think about too.
They think that they can just. They think that their plans are gonna just overnight cause a fucking utopia for the whole world. It's not gonna happen.
That's another thing. Regardless of which presidential candidate wins in the end, the world is not gonna end. Regardless of how much one side of the country is gonna dislike who wins, life is gonna go on, and we'll be pretty okay. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know. You could be as hardcore as you want for a presidential candidate. That's fine. All I'm saying is, I'm gonna vote for Donald Trump, right? Let's say now it turns out Hillary Clinton wins. Yeah, it's gonna suck for me because I like Donald Trump better, and I do think he would do a better job. But I don't think Hillary Clinton's gonna end the world. right? And regardless of what people on the left would tell you about Donald Trump and he's insane and he's going to nuke the world, I don't think he's going to do that either, right?
People are just fucking stupid.
My point is,
listen, like I've said to everybody, I can
is what I'm trying to tell you, right?
I will
people take it too far on each side.
I will not go against somebody's opinion if they can actually converse their opinion and use reasoning.
I had a conversation with Ed about this, right?
If you're gonna be a douchebag and be like, you give your opinion and then I disprove it and then you just come back at me like
racist.
Fuck you, you're a racist. I don't have to explain anything to you and just walk away. Then you know what? You're a piece of shit and you don't deserve to have a voice for anything. That's my opinion.
All right. Hillary is not just one person. When one version dies from quote pneumonia, two more appear. there's a fucking underground.
When she's a fucking shape-shifting lizard.
There's an underground hangar of just tubes with Hillary Clinton's. We made it through 8 years at W. Pretty sure we'll be okay. That's what I'm saying, right? Like even if your candidate of choice doesn't win, we've made it through bad before, regardless.
But listen, when Bush was president, this country was probably the most united it has ever been.
It was united, but he still fucked our economy by going to war. You know what I mean? He did.
If people threaten your freedom, you got to be able to stand up and fight for it. Simple
yeah, but there was ways to go about it. But I think that's a separate debate to have for another day. But I hate Trump. Stupid.
I don't have to explain myself to you.
Of course, I hate Trump, stupid, and Hillary, stupid, gross women. Aren't you a girl? You're a self-hating Jew. Oh my God. W was the funniest president of all time. At least we could say that. He gave the internet plenty of memes. Like, in 4chan's early days, everything was just W memes. That was everything.
W.
It was you gotta. He gave us comedy. He created Louis Black's career. You know, but the Republicans and Democrats are going to start a civil. I wouldn't say there's going to be a civil war.
No.
That's a little.
The Democrats running the country is what's going to cause a fucking civil war because they think that everyone should be coddled and no kind of justice needs to be.
I will give you that one.
Put onto.
I wouldn't
people
say
that actually deserve it.
I wouldn't say every person.
They think that the Punisher should be punished because of them punishing people.
Here's what I would say about that. I wouldn't say people who register as Democrat in the country believe that. I feel when we're saying that, we're talking about the Democratic politicians, right? Because I'm sure there's plenty of sane-minded people who like to vote Democrat. I'm sure there are. I'm sure they're not all fucking, raging feminists, right? In fact, I know of a few Democrats for sure that aren't. You know what I mean? I think when you say something like that, you're talking about the politicians. That's the agenda they like to push. And there's that whole, people who live on the state, if you keep them living off the state, they'll vote us in more. And I do understand. I definitely understand that argument. To be honest, if you look at my voter registration card, which is sitting right in front of me, I'm not going to show you because fuck you. My party is none. I don't identify with a party. I'm one of those guys, I hate fucking labels, right? Right now, I'm voting for a guy who's running as a Republican. In 4 years, I might want to vote for a Democrat based on what they say. I don't like aligning myself with a party. That's just the way. I think that's the best way to feel. I don't like that train of, I'm a Democrat, so regardless of what people say, I must vote Democrat. I think you need to have an open mind every time these elections roll around, and even for your local elections, like your mayors and stuff. You need to have an open mind. Fuck what party he's running under. You could say whatever you want about how broken the two-party system is, but the best way to combat that is, regardless of what they run under, just listen to what they say, I think. And you could say, a lot of what every politician says is bullshit, regardless of who you support. Yeah, this is true. But Ed is a Democrat. This is what I was saying. I told you I knew a Democrat that wasn't a dick. There's plenty of them. The only good presidents were Kennedy and Reagan. Kennedy didn't finish his term. I didn't wear a hat. I didn't wear a hat.
Oh, shit. What else can go wrong?
Can we talk about how Hillary is going to bring back the assault weapons ban? See, that's a little bit of a gray area for me, bath salts, because I'm one of the Second Amendment guys. Don't get me wrong, guns, woo. But I like guns. And
I'm all for everyone getting guns.
I grew up in a hunting family.
Only people that can pass a rigorous background test.
I agree, and I agree. Like one of the things I can honestly say I agreed with Hillary Clinton on when she was like, if you're on a no-fly list, you can't buy a gun. I can agree with that. That's a perfect thing to say.
I think, like what Trump said, like some people probably don't deserve to be on the no-fly list.
Right,
I think
right.
you gotta check the severity and the reason.
But even
why
if they don't deserve it,
list.
Even if they don't deserve it, if they're fighting to get off it, at least help them get off it. But while they're on it, they should have to wait to buy the gun until they're 100% clear. That's what I'm saying, right? And I still think that if I've had conversations with Ed about this too, if everybody was more open to buying a gun, you'd have a lot less gun violence. Maybe not at first. It might take time to work itself out. People might be getting drunk and bringing their guns to bars and places they shouldn't be, and I'll grant you that. It might be bad at first. I think after a while, people would learn to handle the responsibility of owning a gun, because I come from a hunting family, right? I've always been around. I have never owned a gun. I've only owned airsoft guns, BB guns.
Pussy.
I've fired guns. I've never owned my own, but I've been around guns my whole life. But I haven't fired that many. Right? I've had a little fun. But the point is, if you're raised around them, if you're taught what the responsibility that goes along with holding a gun in your hand, there's not a problem. The problem comes when you start giving guns to people who are fucking legitimately insane and people who are terrorists. That's the problem, I think. I think guns are woven into American ideology, and it's a very important thing to keep them there. You know what I mean? We don't have to be like Australia, And just because you take guns away doesn't mean crime goes away. There's still crime in Australia, right? Just people don't die with guns, right? You have to have a background check for any gun shop or gun show purchase, even in Florida. Background check takes 30 minutes. Well, it should be more rigorous than that. I would say that I would be okay with a more rigorous check. Right? I don't have a license, so. But they aren't going to take hunting rifles. They're going to ban assault. See, banning assault weapons, that's the thing that kind of bothers me, because what are they going to start putting in the column of assault weapons? Like, you can't buy a bazooka.
That's the thing.
You know that. You can't buy an RPG.
That's one of the main.
Oh, Jimmy.
You start letting them limit your right. They're gonna keep on.
They're gonna start picking at it until it's
gone. They're gonna keep pushing into it, and then you're gonna be like, oh well, because I did this, now I'm fucking screwed.
It's one of those things. It's where do you draw the line? Because you give them an inch, they're gonna take a mile. That's what you're saying.
Exactly.
But so like the counter argument to that would be, well, all right, you don't want them to start stepping on your rights, which is cool. I get that, but do we really need the right to buy like an AK-47, which I don't think you can. But you understand what I'm trying to say.
Nah, I think AKs are banned in the whole country.
Yeah, they are. But
because that's a Russian assault rifle.
It is. But you understand what I mean. You don't need a fully automatic weapon, which I don't think. Can you buy fully automatic weapons? The weapons they're talking about are semi. But is that fully auto? I thought that was semi.
I think you can. Let me see.
Because I think the rifles.
I think AR-15s can be swapped.
I think the rifles they're talking about are semi-auto, but all the gun shops near me will straight up turn you away if you even seem sketchy. Well, that's a good. You're allowed to.
It's a selective fire.
Is it really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, I'm not a gun expert, but if you're born in Texas or Tennessee, the chances are you're going to own a gun. I think the rest of the country should be like that. Like, I live in New York City. It's extra hard to get a permit in New York City. If you live upstate New York, it's easier. It depends on where you live. But a lot of people at gun shows
high popularity. Wow,
yeah,
popularity.
They do. You're right about that.
High populated, popular areas of the country have the most crime. New York City,
Chicago,
Los Angeles, Chicago.
Right.
So obviously, they're gonna.
AKs are not banned.
Going off
you have to have a Class 3 federal license to own a fully auto.
They're banned to fucking regular citizens.
You know that stereotype in Texas. Bradley says as he looks in his closet of 12 AK-47s, all in different colors. Which one am I going to use today?
I want the purple one. I'm gonna go with my sister wife.
You can buy a fully automatic weapon, but it has to have been registered before '86, and there are only a few citizens that can own. American gun laws are very complex. This I know, and I know I don't understand them all. But not all Texans own guns. You don't believe in guns? That's fair.
Like, I know for New York, you need the fastest way you could probably get a concealed permit is if you get like a recommendation from like the mayor and like.
Yeah, but if not, you gotta wait.
Public servants, like police officers or something like that.
Right. To be a cop, you have to carry a gun, so you get one by being a cop.
No. Just without being a cop.
Oh, okay.
Like you get the recommendation from like a couple of police
Okay.
officers and everything saying like, yo, he's good. Like, yo, homeboy, chill.
You personally hate guns? Oh, what are you, MacGyver? That's fair. Like I said, I don't see when it comes to these.
What are you, The Rock?
What are you, The Rock?
Fucking was in the rundown. I hate guns. You don't know what happens when I have a gun.
One of the things I always love to say is, you know, we can have disagreement when it comes to politics and stuff, and you know what law we agree and disagree with, but we could still openly speak about it, right, and understand each other's positions. That
See,
I
like,
think is a beautiful. I think that's a beautiful thing. I think
that's
it's very
why me
important.
and you are not fucking like punching each other in the face,
right?
Because
And me and you
can be civil.
Me and you disagree on plenty of things, and it happens all the time. But that doesn't mean
Yeah, like my dick is bigger than yours. Like,
my dick is definitely the bigger dick here, but
okay.
There is no such thing as a Class 3 license. You have a very long 1-year background check and a tax stamp to have a fully auto suppressor, short barrel. Dude, I'm sorry. Say whatever you want. You know it just looks shady going into the store. Let me get that M16 with the extra long clip and the suppressor. You know what? And let me get the thermal scope too. I might have to look through a wall.
I mean, listen.
It looks shady. It does.
I mean, listen. What is your actual reaction? You go to Starbucks and you see someone walk in with a fucking strapped up AR-15
well, right now,
just hanging on their back. What would be your instant reaction?
I would be scared. I would immediately be scared. But here's the thing: if we were in a position where more people owned guns and it was a more common thing, it wouldn't bother me as much. Because if you're in an environment where you never ever see anybody who's not a cop with a gun. You only see cops with guns. Then you just see some random faggot walking down the street with a rifle on his back. You're gonna be suspicious, right? And I understand how that would put anybody on edge because it's a tool used to kill things. That's what it's primarily used for. I mean, obviously, you used properly, you can go have fun and in a firing range and whatnot. But it's meant to kill things, and I understand why that puts you on edge. I'm just saying that if more people were to embrace having a gun and realize it's not that scary of a thing just to own the gun, and yeah, kids do get killed. Sometimes accidents happen, I get that. But overall, I do think it would be better because when you do have that, let's just use Columbine as an example. Those kids walk in I think they started in the library. Was that where they went?
I think they started in the lunchroom.
I thought it was the library, but whatever. They walk into the room, a big room, right? Let's just say half of those kids carry a small caliber pistol, like something tiny, right? Half those kids have small pistols. What do you think happens? Maybe they kill 2 or 3 people tops, which is terrible anyway, but that's nothing compared to what happens, right? They start shooting 3 minutes later, they're down and dead because people had guns, right? I think that's pretty flawless logic. Maybe I'm crazy. And I grew up around firearms, just the sight of them doesn't bother me. I agree. The sight of guns doesn't bother me. It's when you see somebody out of place. That's what I'm saying.
I think probably the biggest
suppressors help to not scare off animals. It's not an assassin. It's true. Certain places you can open carry, but you cannot.
Contributor to people's like false knowledge is social media.
Yeah.
Mainly for the simple fact that you see, whenever there's something with a cop happening or like a shooting happening,
right?
Then the only videos you ever see are videos to just prove that cops are bad.
Well, no,
guns are bad. This, that, the other thing.
People run off emotion, and they don't want to look into the facts of it.
And that's why I hate fucking people. I hate everyone.
Well, yeah, but
I hate you too.
I hate you too. I've lived in many rural places, and having a firearm is necessary for protection from animals, and in urban areas, animals are criminals. He tried to steal my cheeseburger.
I mean, I think of it like this: it's what?
If people were taught how to use a gun at a young age and taught how dangerous it is, that's what I was getting at before, Double. If you grow up around it, if you're exposed to it, and you go through your whole life with an understanding of how dangerous a gun can be, and how dangerous a gun is, right? I think you cut down on these random shootings and these mass shootings, because like I said, if you even have a small handful of people in a group that let's say the Orlando shooting, because that's like the biggest one that happened recently, right? Which I don't know if you guys know who Milo Yiannopoulos is, but right after that happened, he started selling a really awesome shirt where it was like a tank top, and it was an Uzi but colored rainbow, and it says "We Shoot Back," because he was trying to get gay people to buy more guns after that, which I thought was great. But let's say 5 guys in that club or girls, just 5 people in that club had a pistol in their pocket, right? And yeah, around alcohol, it's a bad idea. But argument's sake, 5 people go in that club, guns on their ankle, underneath their pants, because that's a safe place to keep it, away from the pockets, right? That guy comes in, starts shooting, just bang bang, right? How many people do you think he kills before the people who have the guns in the club take him down? It can't be that long. It can't. It seems like common sense to me, because you have a gun. You're in an area where somebody is fucking killing people. What are you gonna do? You're immediately gonna shoot at the motherfucker, right? That's what I think.
Put that motherfucker down. I see. The thing is, I live by the law of the land, survival of the fittest.
David, what's going on?
So I go.
The law of the land.
The law of the land. No matter how many laws and rules there's put before you, someone's always gonna break them, and you got to be able to defend yourself.
Well, right. No matter, even if you take,
you're not gonna take my right to own a gun away because you think that I might go out and fucking shoot somebody.
Well, the argument is that
let them.
That
I'm not gonna go out and shoot somebody.
Right.
They're gonna come in and I'm gonna fucking shoot.
The argument is that if you do go crazy and you do go out and kill somebody one day, the argument is that, well, if guns were illegal, you wouldn't have been able to do that. Yeah, but if the crazy guy wanted to kill a whole bunch of people, you think he's not gonna Google how to make a homemade bomb using fucking Windex? He's gonna figure it out one way or the other if he wants to kill a bunch of people, right?
Yeah, like fucking James Holmes.
Who's that?
The Batman shooter.
Oh wait, no, was that his name? No.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And he had
the kid with the pink hair.
Yeah, he dyed his hair in an attempt to go with an insanity case, and when he was brought to court. But
so if I own a sword, is it different? No, I mean, you can own a sword. You can own knives. I think
you can't bring it out though.
Yeah, you can't bring it around, and there's a limit to the length that it can.
Actually, I don't think you. No, you can't conceal it.
You can't walk. You can't brandish a katana walking down the street. I don't think.
I think you can keep it out, but I don't think you can conceal more than 4 fingers, 4 finger length.
Yeah. Let's see. Designated defender like designated driver. It's easy. Let people carry in bars if they're sober. All right. So if they're drunk, what do you do then? In that situation, do you have the bouncer come up and be like, or do you have to check your gun at the door? What do you do? Do you have the bouncer come up and like, I'm gonna have to take your maybe what you do is you present your weapon at the door, right? And maybe you have to wear a bracelet. That's not a bad idea actually. You wear a bracelet. Let's say you bring a weapon, right? You have to wear a separate bracelet over the stamp or whatever they give you to show that you're 18 or whatever it is, right? And once you have that on, and then if the bartender sees you getting drunk, he could say you're gonna have to go give your gun to the bouncer or whatever. You can come back tomorrow to pick it up or something like that. I don't think that's a terrible idea. Sorry to sound cliche.
Said she's gonna unsub for me. Cool.
Who said that?
Afna.
Oh, that sucks. Taking the guns from people who are innocent prevents them from shooting people who have guns. That's what I'm saying. What happens when the crazy guy comes and doesn't want to come rob your house, right?
What about the criminals that laugh in the fucking face of law and order?
Sorry to sound cliche, but if guns are outlawed, only outlaws will own guns. This is true. There's a story that I heard. It was a couple of years back. It was like two years ago, I think, where it was an older guy. I forgot what state it was in. It wasn't New York. I forgot where it was, but Ouija, what's going on, man? There was an older guy and these 2 kids. They were basically the hoodlums of the neighborhood. They always tortured the old
hoodlums,
right? They always tortured the old guy, throw shit at his house, right? Call him a douchebag while driving by on their bike, so he can't chase them and beat them up, right? They were the dicks in the neighborhood. Anyway, one night they're apparently trying to break into his house. They're actually trying to break it in now. He's behind the door. This is his testimony. We don't know that it actually happened, but he was proven innocent later on, so we can assume that he told the truth. Peanut, what's going on? Anyway, they're trying to break in his house. He goes upstairs and he gets his rifle, right? He goes back downstairs and stands behind the door. He goes, "Go away. Get off my property. Stop touching my house. I'm telling you now, go away." They keep they're banging on the door, trying to get in. What does he do? He fires 2 rounds through the door. He hits them both. They die. They try to sue him for, the parents try to sue him for wrongful death. They were on the news. The parents were on the news. Oh, he killed my babies. Why did he? You know what I mean?
Fuck your babies. But they were trying to fucking rob me.
You're breaking and entering. Now, what happens? What happens when, let's say those two kids we don't know what they were planning. Maybe they were just going to come in and, ooga booga booga, throw something at them and leave, right? Let's just say, they're kids, right? They were teenagers. We don't know, but let's say they were crazy and they were going to break in and fucking purge him, right? You don't know. What would he have done? Let's say they're crazy. They break in. He's not allowed to own a gun. He has no gun. What happens? They rape him and they kill him. Then what happened? Well, if he had a gun, he could have shot them, huh?
That's gay, bro.
You understand what I mean, though. But
I do.
It's interesting that we talk about this because Hillary Clinton's one of her biggest platforms is gun reform, and I think Democrats in general want to cut down on guns. Or definitely Hillary Clinton does because she's.
Yeah, they do.
But you got to understand something. The vote that she's trying to capture is the regressives, the feminists, the Black Lives Matters. They all hate guns, right? So she might not actually ever enact that kind of law to cut down on guns, right? I see the rules say no shoutouts, so I am more than willing to try and break any rule. Fuck you, dude. How about that? Jimmy looks gay.
Who said that?
Peanut said it. Everyone is here. So just so you guys know,
Peanut, you look gay.
When the debate, when we're done talking about the politics thing, we're gonna switch over to a game. But I'm enjoying this a lot. I hope you guys are. I told you guys a while ago I would like to do some streams where we just talk. I think this is a cool idea. But Hillary Clinton. We got really off track off the debate. Hillary Clinton at one point mentioned when the question was how about improving race relations. There was a point where she implied that we're all racist, is what she did. You can say whatever you want about it, just turn it however you want. Well, she didn't actually imply that. Because what she said was we all have implicit bias, and I will say everybody has a bias because everybody has an opinion. Once you form an opinion on something, right, that is the way you believe. So your bias is there. But the context in which she used it was she was saying how it's systematic and how police wrongfully target black people and other minorities, right? That's just not the fucking case, right? This is something that's been perpetuated by Black Lives Matter since the very beginning. Oh, we're being hunted because we're black. We're being hunted because we're black. No, you're not. No one's going around. The police don't punch in the morning, go get donuts, and there's a big fucking poster on the message board that says "Kill blacks today," right? That doesn't happen. Or you could say, well, we obviously we know that. We're just saying that they don't like blacks, so they kill them anyway. No, see, the reason that's so easy of an ideal to push is because look at the way the media pushes this whole thing. When one of these guys gets killed, and I'm going to reference a recent one, when one of these guys gets killed, the first thing you see in the news is unarmed black man dead, right? Or you just see black man dead. Or police kill black man, right?
Anyone notice that after 2008, anytime someone died, a suspect died, no color was mentioned? Just gonna point that out.
What do you mean before 2008?
Before 2008, before Obama became president.
You said after 2008, you idiot.
Before what did I say?
You said anyone noticed after
before 2008, no color was mentioned.
You know what?
At all.
When I was doing research for something a while back, and every article I came across, the first sentence was always insert gender here. No, I'm sorry, insert race here, insert gender here. Person has died, right? When I think if I was a journalist, every article when that shit would happen would be like, a human has died today, right? Or if he was a criminal has died. You know what I'm saying? Why does Why does everything have to start off with color? That's the problem.
Because they're trying. That's just the media's agenda. They just want to race bait everything now. Because they know that's what's going to get them their ratings, and it's going to make problems worse and give them more ratings, no matter how much harm they fucking do to everybody else.
Peanut, Jimmy's girlfriend is in the room. Most wrongful black deaths are black on black killings. Exactly. So that's what I was getting at. Going back to what I was saying before, you always see black man dead, right? This immediately triggers that emotional response in people. And it's understandable. I'm not blaming people for being fucking stupid. You feel bad when people are killed for any reason, right? One murder is too much. Nobody should die. Even criminals, as long as they're not holding a hostage with a fucking gun, right? If they were just doing some drugs or something, even if they had a gun, nobody needs to die because some shit went south. End of story. It's always a bad day when someone has to die. And I feel bad for anybody who's forced to take a life in a situation like that, because that kind of shit changes a person. You know what I mean? You never feel the same. That must be one of those things where you could just see their fucking face like every day, the people you've killed. You know what I mean? But I understand why you get that emotional response. The problem is people take that emotional response and they just fucking ride it, and then you get the Charlotte fucking riots, the Baltimore riots, right? Where people just going crazy and burn down their own fucking city. Right?
They're not fucking protesters. They're fucking.
No, they're
those
rioters,
are fucking animals. They're not
mind.
rioters. They're fucking criminals and fucking animals.
Wow, why don't you start?
And I don't give a shit who agrees with me or disagrees with me. They're fucking animals.
My video is pixely on my side. His girlfriend looked like a dude.
They're using a current event to their advantage.
To push a political agenda, right?
Steal and fucking loot everything. So, go fuck yourself. Go get a job. Because if you're working.
Did you see the video from the Charlotte riots where they broke in the basketball merch shop with the local basketball team? They broke in the merch shop by the stadium, and they were dragging the cash register and just taking all the money out of the register and shit.
Yeah, and then they were beating the shit out of each other for the money.
Yeah. I'm angry. Let me destroy everything in my own town. That's the point. But like I was saying is they immediately go nuts and say they fucking killed a black guy. Where instead of either reading the whole article or doing some more research to at least find out every fact you can about the situation, right? Now, a lot of the times what you'll wind up finding with most of these, now, of course, cops fuck up. People do die wrongfully, right? But with most of these, what you wind up finding out is the guy who was killed was on parole, right? Or had a long-ass list of fucking offenses. Sometimes violent, sometimes not. But the cops know who they are, right? Not all the time, but a lot of times. And the cops were called because it was a call because somebody was being violent and belligerent or brandishing a weapon, right? There's always something that gets left out by the unarmed black man dies article. Always. Because they do it on purpose because it's a lot easier to push unarmed black man, right? So the majority of the times there's usually a crime going down or somebody being violent and the situation gets escalated. That's just how it is. Now, you can say, I'm not saying that it never happens. You look at the guy in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which nobody rioted about that one, which I find very interesting. There was no riots in Oklahoma over this guy because he was killed wrongfully. The guy who was walking away from them with his hands up and then he leaned on his truck. I think it was wrongful anyway. So I'm sorry, the guy's name escapes me right now. I forgot the poor guy's name, but
I like the other one that everyone is supposedly rioting over. The one where his wife videotaped.
Oh yeah, and she was called
from like a distance.
She called the black cop a coon to his face. Yeah, I saw.
No. She was like, she's like, oh yo, you better not fucking shoot him. You better not fucking shoot him. And then they shoot him because they said that he had he was about to pull a gun, so they shot him.
And she said he had a book. I don't know about that one though because it could go either way.
But she's still recording, calm as can be,
while he's dying in front of her.
Just saying. He better not be dead. Yeah. He better not be dead.
That strikes me as
you
weird.
heard them unload on him.
Yeah. See, that's like if I'm in front of you, and I get shot a bunch of times and I go down. I don't think you're gonna be standing there going, "I hope he doesn't die," just like that. I think you're gonna be screaming at the fucking cops, "Why'd you shoot him?" Right? I feel like that shit is too calm. But going back to what I was saying, the guy is walking away with his hands up. The cops have the guns pointed at him, right? And he's walking away from them. He's not stopping. And then he turns to his truck. I was like this. Puts his hands on the truck. Right? And then they shoot him in the chest and they fucking kill him. That looked completely out of fucking hand to me. Like, there was no reason to shoot the guy in the chest.
But, like, what I want to know is you were told to put your hands up and get down.
He could have been high. I'm not saying he was in the right. I'm not saying he was doing something that was right. They were called because...
So you know what? I'm not going to take a side. Give me a toxicology report.
Okay. But
I would like a toxicology report.
All right.
Simple as that. Why can't people be like that? Listen.
Because they just see a black guy die. That's what.
But they see a black guy die. Now you already know the facts in a video of them saying, "Put your hands up, get on the ground."
No, I don't know if you can hear them saying, "Put your."
Well, no, but I'm saying like not even for that instance. You see a video.
Yeah.
Cops say, "Put your hands up, get on the ground."
Mm-hmm.
Now in your mind, you already know. You don't listen to them. Bad shit's gonna happen.
You know by default. By
but
default,
you think they, but you
cops
think
are trigger happy, regardless of your color. They're trigger happy. You know this.
Listen, you gotta. You're taking an oath to a profession where your life is on the line every day, no matter what, and you don't know what to expect.
Right.
So you need to have a more heightened sense of
we got a little off the
security and
rails, Bradley. I
protection
know. Now it's about race. It's
for yourself
I
and
used
your
I
family.
use Hillary Clinton's point as a jumping off. But anyways,
Because you gotta think about it like this. Put yourself in the cop's position. Who's going home?
We'll run back around to the debate.
Only one of you is going home. Who's it gonna be? You have the choice.
Right, and I get that, but they also have a responsibility to preserve life as much as humanly possible, right?
Yeah, but if they listen, I have told you plenty of times. If they're wrong, they should be punished.
Yeah.
If they're not wrong, let the facts come out and let it play out.
Well, you should let the facts come out before you make a decision anyway. But you're an idiot.
Sorry, I just saw a funny picture.
So, anyway, so like I was saying, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But Hillary Clinton on stage saying that that the system is heavily against blacks, basically lying to pander to that vote, is what pisses me off. Is the reason why
her saying that is forcing the system to be against them, because they're gonna take a tiny thing and make they're gonna take an anthill and make it a fucking mountain.
Exactly.
Just to push the racist agenda.
Right.
And you know what? It's fucking bullshit, and they're too blind to fucking see it.
Yeah. It bothers me that she has to stand on stage and lie about something like that. And when going back to what I said earlier.
Oh no, she doesn't lie. She's a woman. She doesn't lie.
Going back to what I said earlier, she mentioned when they asked her about jobs and improving. How you doing there, Ani? You're on the internet.
Yeah, she's on the internet. You're on the interwebs.
The interwebs. When they asked her about job security and increasing jobs in the country, she immediately used that to say, well, one of the biggest and first things we have to do is ensure that there's equal pay for everyone. So she stated in front of the whole world, in front of the whole country, 80 million people.
110 million people.
No, I don't think it was that high. I think it was like 80.
Nah, they projected over 100 million people watching.
Yeah, but
this was supposed to be like the biggest.
What it turned out to be was
it
was about 80. I think they projected 100. It turned out to be 80. So she said in front of 80 million or 100 million, between 80 and 100, let's say, because we don't know for sure, between 80 and 100 million Americans, that the pay gap is real. When I think there is a pay gap. I don't think it's a gender pay gap. I think it's a position pay gap. There is a pay gap, but there is a pay gap.
That's completely
what's
fine.
What's going on? These balls, you're back. Great. There is a pay gap, but it's not in the sense that feminists want you to believe. The pay gap, the study they used to prove that there's a pay gap between men and women, was they grouped lifetime earnings all into one group. So when they looked at it, they said, well, over a lifetime, women seem to be earning less than men. But there's so many variables that go into that. There's the amount of women like to take more time off work than men do. Women like family time more than men. Men take more physically demanding jobs, which means they get paid more a lot of the times, right? Because they're in a job where sometimes their lives are on the line. There's more cops, right? There's construction workers get paid very, very well, and there's very few women in that field because it's very physically demanding, right? There's so many different reasons as to why this pay gap exists. You know what I mean? But so instead of embracing the fact that, you know what, maybe this whole pay gap thing could be wrong. No, you know what? Men are evil. People hire people like to hire women just so they can pay them less. Let me ask you a question. If that were true, if employers did every woman by default earned less than every man that worked for them, don't you think they would fire all of their men and just hire women? Because they would. When you're running a business, your main concern is your bottom line. How much money do I make when I go home tonight? If I own the company, right? You want to pay your employees as little as legally possible because you want to make more money.
Exactly.
So don't you think if there was some legal loophole and everybody hated women and it was that easy to pay women less, that they would just hire more women. That would just make business sense. What am I guessing, Peanut? What's up? That's what bothers me about that whole thing. So she's going, somebody who you want to vote for to be president, not even acknowledging the fact that her argument could be wrong, saying as a fact there is a pay gap, which Obama did too, which really pissed me off. That's why I can't stand shit like that, right? When prominent politicians go out in front of the country and say, oh, you know, start lying about shit like that. DeWario freak, what's going on? Let's just get this said and done. The world is full of disappointing things that make us believe we will always be bad, but I'm sure if we work together really hard, we can change. Well, this is true. I can agree with that.
But nobody wants to work really hard to change.
That's
true.
That's also true. But that was around the. This makes a lot of sense. If women get paid less, there would be more women working. Right, exactly. And they always complain, well, why aren't there more women in STEM fields, you know, more scientific fields? Because generally women like different work than men do. Women don't gravitate towards, you know, being a biologist, being a physicist. Women just don't. There are women in the field, just not a lot, because men and women were just wired to enjoy different things. Biologically, it's how we're programmed. We just like different things. That's why more girls like Barbie dolls than boys when they're babies. We just like, it's basic. We like different things. Biscuit, you're going to guess that I am gay for you? You're a girl. How could you be gay for me? Why would you change yourself, though? Let's see. Do you want to hear my thoughts on this election? Go for it. That's what this is. This is an open forum. Regardless, I don't care where you fall politically. You can say what you want as long as you don't. The thing we're trying to avoid here is just going, oh, you like Donald Trump, you're a racist. Oh, you like Hillary, you're a piece of shit feminist. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. You can say what you want. That's the important thing here. But that's the kind of shit that pissed me off about, you know, her going on stage and pushing the whole pay gap thing. Lesbian peanut. But that was around the time when she started to really take control of the debate. And that was when she started to, well, he hates women, and you know, he said he doesn't like Rosie O'Donnell. He called her a pig. He must hate women. No, he doesn't like one woman, even if he's wrong. Even if, let's say, she's the holiest woman in all the land, right? Even if he's wrong, that doesn't mean he hates women. That means he doesn't like one person. That's what that means. But regardless of how much I can defend Donald Trump, and I know Jimmy can and will at every corner, I can honestly say that he lost this debate. Definitely. I think we all need to vote for one person. Yeah, Goku.
Who said that?
No, I said that. The Wario Freak said, I think we all need to vote for one person, and I added the Goku part. I'm voting for the...
Goku should be supreme power.
Yeah, I'm voting for the Aflac duck. Most people I talk to say they aren't sure who to vote for. To be honest, I'm not sure who deserves to win. That's
Listen, I honestly, like, just in my overall
his name is
opinion,
Donald Trump. Trump 2016.
I just think the whole list of questions was very unfair.
Not the whole list. I think
there were more. They weren't. There was one time actual policy was brought up.
Yeah.
The other things that were talked about had nothing to do with policy.
Warrior, you think Trump won the debate? Why do you think that? Go ahead, keep going, Jimmy.
I think that the other questions after just the first thing that Trump destroyed her on with jobs, which was the actual only thing that had to do with policy.
Right.
It was just, those questions were created to make Clinton look good. And it was very easy to see.
I think the later questions were a little bit one-sided. I think when they started asking about, because
you can't hide behind the Republican label when you work for a liberal news network. I'm sorry, you can't do that. You're paid to do something.
I don't care about what you're registered as. I really don't. I just care about what he actually said. And he was the one. And
what he said proved that he was definitely in Clinton's pocket. And I'm pretty.
When he
call me a conspiracist, but fucking, I honestly think that she either knew the questions beforehand, or
I don't think she knew the questions.
She was given a general idea of what type of questions would be asked. And I'm pretty sure, just in her composure,
Trump should be voted in for one reason: federal investigation. I said that a while ago. If the FBI has even thought about opening up a case against you, you should be disqualified from running for president, right? Because if you've been, you shouldn't have to.
Just depending on the issue,
maybe.
Because then somebody could plant some bullshit on you.
Do you agree for Chuck Norris for president? Yes. I think Trump won because he slammed Hillary. I mean, remember that part with the emails? Oh, that was great.
See,
but he only brought it up for 1 second.
That was the only time.
The problem was he had to bring that up.
He could have fucking destroyed it.
My problem with
her, and he only talked about it for 2 minutes at most.
Yeah, and he let it go. He had to bring that up. Whereas the moderator,
if it was me, I would have picked up I would have taken out my fucking iPhone and just pulled up a video of her in Benghazi.
Yeah.
With all this Benghazi bullshit, I would have pulled up a video of fucking, just videos of her emails, and just let it play. You want my 2 minutes? Here's 2 minute clips.
The whole time I would have been like, well, how come people were? It's a known fact that people were breaking your iPads with hammers and your Blackberries, and they lost the laptop. Where's your laptop, Hillary? Like, those are the things he needed to be coming back with, and he didn't do it enough. That's why I think he lost. Because when he did bring up the emails thing, she said, when it went to her, she said, well, I made a mistake. And he's like, that's for sure. And then that's all he said about it. He should have nailed her for the emails thing.
I think he was trying to take a different approach, trying to go at something different than what he's been doing. He was
trying to show himself as a gentleman because everyone always says he's an asshole. That's what he was trying to do.
I honestly think he should have just fucking slaughtered her.
He should have. I'm going to wait to see what he does in the next debate.
Like I said, no matter, I don't care what you say, I think that those questions
Hillary came
were
prepared.
completely
Trump
biased.
Underestimated her, either that or wasn't trying. I think he underestimated her a little bit. At the same time, I think he didn't want to push that hard. I really think he didn't want to push that hard. To be honest, as a Trump supporter, I think Trump didn't do. No, that's what I said. I'm a Trump guy too, and I don't think he did well at all. I'm bleeding. That's great.
I think I just like I said, I find it very convenient that right after he got the ball rolling, like on his side,
he started only for a few minutes.
Yeah, but that's after the next question started being asked.
Yeah,
which had nothing to do with actual policy.
Right. So, like I was saying about the emails thing, he had to bring that up. What bothered me was the moderator had a question. Was like, well, you apparently have been known to hate women and say hateful things towards women. You can bring that up about Donald Trump, but you can't bring up her emails on your own. You can't bring up. Well, maybe he had a question and he skipped over it because they brought it up. He
did give Trump a chance. That's the only time, like I said, Trump probably fucked up during the debate. Other than that, his rebuttals and everything included fact.
I'm looking forward in 1 week to Pence versus Kaine. I don't think that's going to be anywhere near as good. I mean, I'll probably watch it. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as good. I don't like this debate. It makes it feel
Pence is out for blood. I know that.
Nah. But like I said, I think what didn't I see from you, Double? Hold on. Hillary could be the first F president. I didn't say female because she deleted the email. I think he could have nailed her way harder. He had so many things that he could have chucked at her and he didn't. But because of that, whatever his strategy was, even if his brain blanked and he didn't know what to say, or if it was a strategy on some level, I think he lost. I think he lost anyways.
Like what have I been saying this whole time to you, like off stream? I think that when he doesn't do something when he should, like when people say he should,
yeah,
it's most likely a businessman's strategy.
Yeah, like I said,
like
even if it is
mentality.
A strategy, well, you'll find out in the next debate if he starts hitting it harder. You'll know. Maybe he was just testing the waters. I think either way, after that debate, his advisors were like, and his speechwriters were like, listen, next time when you go out to this next debate, you got to make sure you start throwing Benghazi out there. You throw emails.
Dude,
you got to
I'll tell you this right now.
Stop is what you got to do.
Anderson Cooper is going to be the
is
moderator
he a turtle
for the
with
next
wings?
one. And I'll say it's either he's going to be either completely unbiased or he's just going to fucking destroy Trump with the questions.
Yeah. I think Pence versus Kaine will be good because do you remember how Pence slammed Hillary with the deplorables comment? Kaine is a guy who no one really knows. This is true, but everybody slammed Hillary with the deplorables. She gave everybody ammo by saying that. She is an idiot for doing that. Just by saying most of them can be grouped into the basket of deplorables, you insulted half the country. Half the country, even begrudgingly, even the people who begrudgingly support Donald Trump, half the country still supports him. You know what I mean? But I think he, like I said, he did poorly, and he can do better, and he probably will, if he paid attention and he learned anything from this debate. I think though,
don't hold back.
Yeah, right. I think it didn't matter.
Fuck what people say about your temperament. We got to start. See, like what I see online and everything is other people in other countries are They say that they're laughing at us because Obama's such a pussy and everything.
I don't know
So
if
you know
that's
what?
true.
I
But
honestly think that we shouldn't try to reign supreme power. We
no,
should just reign as a force to not be fucked
no.
with.
I personally, I'm tired of being world police. I really am. Like, take care of ISIS.
I don't want to
and
be
then-
world police. I just want to be. I want us to be looked at as don't fuck with us.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like, what if you need our help?
The kid from
and you deserve our help. We'll help you.
the kid from Little Hitler.
If you fuck with us,
Not my problem.
not
Now
my problem.
it's my problem.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We can't stop. We can't
Chris
keep being
Chris
a fucking...
Christie's an idiot. He's a fat idiot. I'll give you that. He is a fat idiot. But what was I gonna say?
Trump even told him to stop eating fucking Oreos.
Yeah,
That
right.
shit had me dying.
He's a fat idiot. He admitted I think there was tapes of him admitting about knowing that they were going to close the bridges. That whole thing that everybody hates him about. That he just striked traffic for like 3 days because he closed the bridge, but then didn't tell anybody. That was a whole nother thing. But fuck, I forgot what I was going to say. I think now I know what I was going to say. I think this debate largely didn't matter because everyone's decided they weren't going to sway anybody. The only people they stand to sway right now, and with the following debates, are the Bernie or bust guys who are not even going to vote now because they wanted Bernie and they wanted nobody else, or maybe some of the third party guys.
No, a lot of Bernie supporters came to the Trump side.
All of
Came
them
to the
did.
dark side.
I think you want to sway a lot of the independents. That 12. I think, what's his name? Gary Johnson is polling at 12%. That 12% could help you if you sway that to your side. You know what I mean? So those are those are the only people you stand to really sway. For the most part, I think the country is decided on who they're going to vote for. So I think
you got 2 months, not even.
Yeah, I don't think it matters too much. I just want to know who will win at the end, the hype train. Then the bridge thing came up, and I'd be like, "Why the fuck you lying?" Yeah. Like I said, Chris Christie's a moron. I was saying this last night. I didn't say it to Jimmy. I said it to our buddy Anthony when we left, when we were driving home.
Oh, so you're talking shit without me?
Yeah, of course I was, because we were talking about what you're going to talk about after the debate. I was saying, listen, even if I disagree with a lot of what Donald Trump says, and I do disagree with him on several things, like his stance on abortion and the global warming thing, like I said before, which he mentioned on stage. Even if I disagreed with a majority of the things that he said, you got to understand something about me. I despise this whole outrage culture that America has been fucking waterboarded into, just fucking dunked head first into. I hate it. I hate this microaggression bullshit. You have to watch every syllable, every letter of every fucking word you say. I hate it. And I know.
Suck my dick. That's what I have to say.
Listen, I'm not saying voting Donald Trump in just makes it, disappear. It's not going to. If anything, it might even make Hillary Clinton a martyr to like feminists because see, patriarchy. They only voted against her because she's a woman. So it might blow up in my face. My biggest reason for voting for him though is that those people would get, oh, you're going to sleep, Peanut? Good night, Peanut. We're about to wrap this part up and play some H1 anyways. So, fuck political correctness. I agree. This is what I'm getting at. My biggest reason for voting for him is that at the very least, people who hate him are gonna be sent into a fucking coma if he wins. They're gonna fucking fall over, start foaming at them. Why? He's racist. He said bad words. They're gonna fucking flip, and that would be enough. That would be enough for me. Even if he does a lot of stupid things, I don't think he will, because you gotta understand, just because you're president doesn't mean you get a keyboard in front of you and you type some words in and things happen overnight. You know what I mean? You got a whole cabinet of people that tell you what to do and the best course of action. He's not just gonna nuke the world, right? And even if Hillary gets in, she's not gonna get in, and tomorrow there's gonna be 6.5 million Syrians in Times Square, right?
There might be.
There won't be.
There might be.
They're gonna come in slowly. It's not gonna have. Nothing's just gonna. Okay. The world's not gonna end.
A million a day.
A million a day. You know what I mean? So either way, it's not the end of the world. And I was watching Dave Rubin, if you know who he is. He did a stream right after the debate last night, and he ended with like one of my favorite statements ever. He just looked at the camera. He was like, "Don't lose friends over politics," because it's true. Even if you disagree, especially if you're friends who've known each other. I lost somebody on Facebook stopped talking to me, and he doesn't text me anymore. because he heard I said something bad about feminism or whatever. He defriended me. It's like, it's not worth it. It's just not. We can be friends and disagree. You know what I mean? I think that's super important.
I mean, people that want to put their friendship on the line for that bullshit they were never probably really your friend to begin with, because your friendship wasn't based off of your fucking political opinions. So it gives a shit.
Right, exactly. I think it's, and I enjoy talking to people whose opinions differ from mine, because I like learning about different points of views. You know, points of view. I think it helps broaden your horizons. And when I say that, I don't mean when I give my point of view, you call me a racist. What I'm saying is when I give my point of view and you rebut with something intelligent and why you think what I'm saying is bullshit. You know what I mean? If you can intelligently, even if I still think you're wrong, we can still learn about each other by doing that, and still be friends. You know what I mean? I think I think just debate in general is like one of the most important tools we have as human beings, as social beings. You know, I live in North Carolina. The economy sucks. There are hardly any jobs. We live in the mountains. Gas costs a lot when we even have it. Gas does always cost a lot. Biscuit, did you know that some famous guy, I can't remember his name, has correctly predicted every election since Bush's first term? He made a prediction on this election. Is it Donald Trump?
Who, Nostradamus?
No, not Nostradamus. He said a famous, yeah. I mean, Nostradamus, I guess, is famous. But...
Nostradamus is famous as fuck. I mean, he predicted the Twin Towers falling.
Did he?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'll find it. The quote was actually really fucking awesome, too.
So, yeah, I guess closing statements on the debate. Clinton, as always, was going.
I think it was rigged.
I wouldn't say it was rigged. I think slightly, because one or two questions bothered me, and that's when I started to get spend 20 minutes on the fact that Donald Trump said a bad thing about a lady, so he hates all women. That's what bothered me. I don't think the entire debate was like I don't think nobody sat down and just started screaming racist. You know what I mean? And you know what was cool? Regardless, I like that some people did cheer for Hillary when she talked, and then some people cheered for Donald Trump. I think there was a cool balance of people on both sides. I think it's really cool that happened. I was afraid the audience was going to be all on one side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But closing statements, Hillary Clinton went hardcore for the feminist, the Black Lives Matter thing, which she's been doing for a long time, which is because I started out as a Bernie guy. If Bernie made it this far, I was voting for him. But he started to pander to the Black Lives Matter crowd. He started letting them storm his rallies and steal his microphones. It's like, bro, even if you sympathize with them and you're 100%, and at the time they weren't rioting yet, they didn't burn anything down yet. They were just doing things like that, which were pissing me off. It's like, even if you agree with them and you're like, you know what, they have legitimate grievances, which sometimes they do, but even if you're like, listen, they need to be heard, you need to make them understand that, listen, this is not your platform. You can yell at me if you want to scream at me from in the crowd and ask me a question, I will answer whatever question you want about race. You know what I mean? But when you come on my stage and steal my microphone is when we have a problem. That's what bothered me about when that started happening. All he had to do was like, oh, you're bothered. You're yelling about Black Lives Matter. Tell me what the problem is, and we could talk about it right now. That would be fine. There's nothing wrong with that. When you have 4 people rushing up on a stage and screaming in his face, that's what bothered me. I was like, dude, you got to take control of the situation, man. And that's what let me. That right away is what I was like. All right, I probably won't be voting for him. And at the time, I wasn't sold on Donald Trump yet, but as we've winded down, I think for me,
I have persuaded him.
He is. He gave me a Donald Trump pop, which is over there that I'm not gonna go get, but I'm not getting up right now. But
only gave it to him because it was fucked
unplug,
up.
I have no say in this. I'm just here for the beer and bitches. Yeah, no one cares about you fucking limeys and minions. I wanted hold on, wait. Last thing, I wanted Romney to win. I claimed he was a good guy and all, but to be honest, it was just because I was hashtag never Obama. Okay, with Trump, he's basically.
I honestly think Romney got fucking screwed as a motherfucker.
Yeah. To be honest, before
election
Obama's
night,
first term,
he was winning everything, and then it just all changes like that.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here.
Obama's first term, Obama had me. I wasn't registered to vote at the time, but I wanted him to win. He had me when he was running that first time, because you got to understand something. He was one of the youngest presidents we've ever had, right? He spoke very eloquently. He spoke straight, right? Everything he said sounded great. He had my vote.
We are.
I know, but he did what he had to do to get into office. I'm saying based on the things that he said I never went to one of his rallies, but I was watching bits and pieces of whatever I could find on the internet. He seemed pretty cool. I think in terms of his first campaign, he did great. But by the time the second one came around, I think that bothered me during the debate. A thing that bothered me during the debate was Hillary and Trump would interrupt each other, which is unprofessional. It is, but you need to understand how much these two people hate each other. They really fucking despise one another. You knew it was gonna happen. It was oh my god, I forgot what I was gonna say. Fuck, I just lost my train of thought. You knew the things they say about each other and on their own platforms when they're not sharing a stage, or fucking all they do is mudsling. That's just what they do. So you knew it was gonna happen, and especially when these are not just well, his policy is gonna put thousands, millions of Americans out of work. Her policy is gonna put trillions of Americans out. You understand what I mean? It wasn't that. These are when you're debating. They weren't debating policy, which is a big problem. They were debating the contents of one another's character, which shouldn't be in a presidential election. It shouldn't matter. The only question should have been about policy. The reason they were getting so mad with each other was because when Donald Trump was talking, you're old, you're weak, right? And then when Hillary Clinton was talking, you're racist, you're sexist. So you get mad when people start calling you names. That's why it was like that. And again, regardless of which side you were on, that was not the way a debate should have been held. And that speaks to what's his name? Lester. What's his name? Lester Holt.
Yeah.
Lester Holt. He could not get control of that shit whatsoever. They were just steamrolling that guy. Anytime he tried to get control,
he deserved to be steamrolled.
Anytime he tried to get control, dunzo. They shut the fuck up. I'm talking now. He needed to keep more control of that. He really did, because they were just going off on their own tangents. Both of them were. So, got to go for a bit. I'll be back soon. All right, double.
Well, some of the times that he didn't like stop them, he wanted, like, if like he said, like, people, oh, Trump interrupted. Well, he didn't interrupt.
Again,
Lester wanted him. He was gonna ask him to speak anyway, and he just spoke before he was asked. Who gives a shit?
Still. Trump actually was open to Obama when he first won, but now he hates him. Well, everybody was open to Obama. They voted him in, so they were open enough to him. Also, I want to mate with Trump's daughter, Yvonne. Yeah. Trump's daughter is hot. Why does she have to be married? You don't stand a chance with Trump's daughter anyway. You're not rich enough. You have to own at least one Ferrari to at least be able to take her on a date.
So you have to have a net worth of at least his small business loan.
his tiny loan of $1 million. That makes me laugh every time. Small loan, my dick. Your father gave you an inheritance.
I mean, yeah, but listen, look at his lifestyle that he grew up in. That was probably a fucking $100,000. To us, that's probably like $100,000 loan.
Well, it depends. You can argue that, if you're talking just on the basis of his character, yeah, he dodged the draft. He did. He dodged the army. He got a doctor signing him off. You could say, but everybody's done shitty things, and it really shouldn't be about what he did in the fucking 70s and where he got his money from. It should be about.
That's what people want to be. Oh, well, he took his shit on the other side of the toilet. Like, who gives a fuck?
It shouldn't be about that for Hillary Clinton either. It should just be about policy. And from the things that Hillary Clinton has said, I think we'd be better off with Donald Trump. Just on a policy standpoint, because I don't like this.
Because we all know that when they stick to policy, Hillary can't say anything.
She got nothing. I don't like the Syrian refugee thing. I think it needs to be halted, slowed down, and re-examined. No, I seen a whole video on.
I think it should just not exist.
No, because I do feel bad, because we did start that war. Any way you slice it, America started that war.
I don't care.
You should feel bad at the very least for the people that were killing, the innocents that were killing.
I don't feel bad for having to fight for my freedom.
No, you have to fight. But
my soldiers fight for my country's
freedom. You're killing
freedom.
innocents in the process, which sucks. It sucks.
Casualties of war. It happens. Shit happens.
It does. So one is
still. There's only so much you can do.
Yeah, you're
to
right.
prevent it.
But like I was saying, I did see a video on how complicated. In fact, it was John Oliver, on how complicated it actually is to get into this country through our refugee laws, and there's like 8 layers, I think, of security that you got to go through, and it's overall you got to wait a year before you even get in the country. So
it's as easy as getting out of jail in Canada. Just be back by bedtime.
Just be back by bedtime. But like I'm saying, all it takes is a fake passport, because in Syria, the way Syria is right now, there's no documentation on anything. All it takes is a terrorist knowing 1 or 2 guys who knows how to make good paperwork and leave a paper trail so that it looks like you've been a good person for 20 years. That's all it takes, right? It just takes a few pieces of paper, one guy to make you a few pieces of paper. So I think regardless of how many layers it is, it's still very easy. And again, you look at what happened in Germany, and I had somebody tell me once, well, you got to understand something about why that happened in Germany, which, like I said, I'm always open to, somebody else's point of view. But he's like, you got to understand that America, in this case, has the geographic advantage. The reason Germany had to let all those people in, and the reason it turned out so bad, was because they literally had no time to vet them. Because what happened was the people just on their own. There was no government boats or planes or anything. The people just came there on their own, and were in the country, and they were just sitting, on sidewalks and waiting for someplace to go. The country had no choice, and that actually is a legitimate argument against the way I feel about letting the refugees into this country, and I totally get that. And it, in all likelihood, it probably won't happen because of our vetting process, but I still think it's a possibility. I think it's big enough that, like Donald Trump says, well, why don't we just build safe zones? I think in Syria, I think that's an okay idea. And you have military guards, you have our guards around, you have towers, and you have our guys walking around with machine guns, and, you have a helicopter come by every now and then, and secure the perimeter, right? I don't think that's a bad idea. What do you think, Jimmy?
No, as long as these people are being watched.
But that's what I'm saying.
I don't give a fuck.
You're okay with our military guarding them, right? Like building safe zones with tents and food and stuff like that. You're okay with that then?
Yeah.
Okay.
But fucking, you're not going to I don't want them coming in here and then just using that as an excuse to, they pretend to fucking, be somebody like a refugee, and they turn out to be a fucking terrorist.
Right, because there was that video going around of, I forgot who it was. In Germany, there was a girl walking around, talking to the refugees. And she was just asking, oh, so you're a refugee, right? What country did you come from? Sudan.
Yeah, they're not even from
Nigeria, Iraq, Afghanistan. You know how many
Syria.
Syrians she found? 1.
Like 2.
1 Syrian. That's how you know how easy it is to twist.
Are you Syrian?
Man. So I think there's arguments on both sides, right? But we're going in circles now. Spiro, what's going on, man? Looking like a true Guinea, Jimbo. True Guinea.
Yo, what's up, Spyro?
Spyro the Dragon. All right, so we've been going in circles now. I think we're gonna wrap up this political discussion. I like this. Me and Jimmy might talk about doing this more often, because you guys have obviously in chat been talking back to us, and you guys dig it. So we might do this more often. I think this is a cool idea. They dig it. You enjoy doing it, Jimmy?
I like it.
We'll definitely do it after the next debate, and when political things happen, we'll definitely get to talking. I think this is cool. Like I said, when we do these things, I totally want you guys to just open forum. As long as you decide, oh, you just said something in defense of Trump, you racist. You just said something in defense of Hillary Clinton, you fucking raging feminist man hater. As long as there's an argument.
CNN all every day has been bashing Trump.
Yeah, that's what
I guarantee 90% of what you're probably watching right now, it has to do with him sniffling. I was just looking before.
Did they say it on the news? I don't know if they said it on the news.
Dude, somebody.
I read articles, but
I forgot who said it. But I just saw somebody tweeted out that
Jimmy Sherhesley, Ed, I promise you
that Trump is a cokehead.
Really?
Yep. They put cokehead ?
Ed, I promise you that both Jimmy and I are wearing Guinea tees under our shirts right now. Like, I swear on everything.
I'm wearing a beater.
Yeah, so am I. So yeah, like I said, we'll be doing this again in the future. It's cool. Yeah, I got one too.
My nipples.
Sniffling and talking about that pageant winner. Yeah, because I forgot he called him Miss Housekeeping. Whatever. So like I said, we'll definitely, you guys think this is pretty cool. You should, I'm going to leave this up as a recording. So leave comments if you're watching this in the future. Hit me up on Discord. I want feedback on how you think this went, if you enjoyed it, if you want me to do it more. I kind of want to do it more. I already do it in the vlogs, kind of, sort of. But I think it's a cool idea. Biscuit, I'm leaving now. I'm sorry, DeWario, I didn't see you. All right, I'll see you later, man. We are coming back in like 3 minutes to play H1Z1. So if you can stick around, please do. If not, I'll see you later, man. But yeah, we're definitely gonna do it again after the next debate, unless it's like super boring and nothing interesting happens. But yeah, so any closing statements there, Jimmy?
Fuck Hillary. She can eat shit, and I hope she does choke on the next debate.
Here I was preaching tolerance.
Fuck tolerance. We don't have time for that shit.
Ain't nobody got time for that. I barely found.
Ain't no Republican got time for that.
I barely found this channel, and I enjoy you guys, so I sub. Thank you, Gaming Obsession. So,
be sure to sub to me too.
You're a new guy or girl, I don't know. So let me ask you this really quick. I like my bread and butter is obviously doing the gaming streams, right? I like playing video games. Like that's my favorite fucking thing. What do you think? What do you think of the idea of having the political discussions sprinkled in, right? And doing streams like this, or doing videos, where we just talk about maybe a news story or something. You like that mixed in with the gaming stuff? You think that's cool?
Sprinkled in.
Sprinkled.
No, for like literally a half a second, I was waiting for like an audio response to your question.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh wait.
Well, Mr. Basher.
Well, Mr. Biscuit Basher.
Oh man.
No, it sucks. I haven't fitted my mouth guard yet.
Oh, why haven't you fucking done that?
Because I've just been way too lazy to do it.
Wait, don't you go into the gym tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Are you paying yet, or is it just?
Nah, I got a 60-day thing. Remember when I was telling you, like all the bad reviews that people left?
Yeah.
They were complaining about doing the 60-day thing and they wouldn't get their money back.
Right. Oh, people would just leave.
The guy actually, like, he explained it to him. Like, listen, like you have like 99% positive, like 5-star reviews, but then I was seeing these bullshit like 1-star reviews from you guys, and I'm like, these people are fucking crazy. He's like, yeah, because those people do the 60-day thing, the free trial, and they show up 2 or 3 times within those 60 days, and they expect to not pay anything.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. He's like, listen, if you come like 2 or 3 times a week within those 60 days, every week, then like you will get money back.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to pay for whatever time.
Double says, I like the political discussions because you're very open and don't hold back in order to not offend people. I consider myself a realist. Even if you disagree with me, you could tell me and I'll talk about it.
I just consider myself as a person. I don't give a fuck what you think.
No, I mean,
like if you're gonna be civil and use intellect, and
if you're just
be,
gonna, if
like
you're
I said, be civil,
with me,
then I don't. Then
right.
It's whatever.
If we're gonna
like,
exchange opinions, I'm so down to do that. Like, I'm not gonna hate you because
we can discuss politics.
I'm not gonna hate you because you feel differently about something than I do. I want to learn. I want to know why you feel different. What makes you feel that way, right? So I think.
Listen, if I'm wrong, then
show me I'm wrong.
Don't be an asshole about it. Just explain to me why I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And if I think that you're wrong in your response, then I will tell you why.
That's how it goes. I'm going to show you why I think what you're saying is bullshit, and then you're going to say, well, what you're saying is bullshit, and here's why. It's that simple.
And that's why I think you're a fucking piece of shit. That's why.
Now, let me tell you why that's bullshit. I think this type of stream would be cool on occasion. It's a break of gaming, and the political discussions are interesting, and we can all express our opinions about everything. Well, thank you, gaming. That's what I the kind of community I'm hoping to cultivate here is a very free and open one. Like, I want you to be able to say whatever you want without fear of people shaming you, because that's a big thing now, especially in the United States and in Europe. It's a really big thing now. You got to be so scared of an opinion. I don't want anybody to be scared to say anything. You know what I mean? But then when you say something that's stupid and bullshit and retarded, expect for people to point out why what you just said is retarded. You know what I mean? You're not going to just be called an idiot just to be called an idiot. You understand what I'm trying to get across? I know I'm running in circles, but you get it?
I mean, I don't care what people's reactions are, because you know what? If I decide to voice it, it's my opinion.
Not like schedule.
And that's how I feel.
Yeah, not like schedule. Just when the notion strikes. Right. I'm not planning on
I don't care. Like example today. There's an area that we deliver to, and it's literally only black people there. But it's like for the black people that, like, their parents didn't want to take care of them, so they just sent them here.
Oh, you mean
it's
it was
the children's village? That's what it's called.
Yeah. And all black, really?
Like maybe like I've seen maybe like a handful of white kids there, but it's like 99%.
It's a largely black area, so that's why. Yeah.
But to get into like where the school is and everything, you have to go through the guard booth, and they don't like if I'm trying to deliver through there, they don't like whenever there's like a new person there, they make you like pull to the side and like you have to call these people, they have to come down and
Really?
shit, and it's like a big pain in the ass. So I told the lady today, I'm like, listen,
this guy
like,
just cooked a single piece of asparagus on a 5-burner grill. What a dumb thing to do. My bad, you going?
Well, like I called her and I go to the lady, I'm like I don't know what's with all the rules and everything, but I've been coming here for years. There's been no problem with me like coming in here delivering to you guys. Like it takes time from us, it takes time from you, it costs me money and shit like that. But then I was like, there's like a couple people that work the booth that let me go through.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, she goes, oh, who? I'm like, I like the Spanish guy. There's like only one Spanish guy that works there. And there's 2 black guys that work there. That's what I told her. Like, there's 2 black guys that work there. Like, I didn't give a fuck. Yeah. Like any other person, they would be like, why they gotta be black? Yeah. Why they gotta be Spanish? Like, I don't know. Maybe because their parents were black, their parents were Spanish, fucked each other, and produced similar offspring. Like
genetics. It's funny because we respond when you respond to my messages. I talk to my screen expecting you to talk back and hear me. That's what Jimmy just said. He was waiting for you to talk back, Amy. Oh, man. Discord chat for off-stream hours. Yeah, the Discord chat is largely like this is now, just fucking open for them.
Okay, listen. I'll be completely honest. I'm just gonna throw that out there. My biggest stupid moments is when I rewatch your streams.
Yeah.
Or if I rewatch our streams like the next day at work or something.
Yeah.
If I don't say anything in response to something you said during stream.
Yeah.
I end up saying it to myself. Out loud in my car. And then, I catch it every time and I fucking laugh every fucking time. I'm like, yo, I am a fucking retard. Cause you know what it makes me feel like?
What?
Because usually I work at nights.
Mm-hmm.
Like my main time was usually working nights. So whenever I give somebody their food, I'll be like, enjoy, have a good night. Then sometimes it'll be like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll tell someone, enjoy, have a good night. But I'll turn around. I'm like, yo, I'm a fucking retard. What is wrong with me?
All right, so Jimmy say Kupo like you do. Kupo! So, thanks again to Shade last night for making the thumbnail and this layout. He's fucking amazing. He did it on super short notice. I love you, bro. Yeah. That'll be it for this stream. We'll be back in like 5 minutes though, so don't worry about that. We'll be back in like 5 minutes to play H1Z1 for a little while, give you guys some actual gaming entertainment because Biscuit don't leave you hanging. So I just want to be able to switch the stream over and all my artwork and stuff. So
well, if you don't want to be left hanging, loosen the noose.
So I love you guys again. I hope you enjoyed everything. I hope you'll come back for if we ever do this again. Yeah, we'll see you guys in about 3 minutes.
Take it easy.